Testing the sound. Testing my brain. Now it's empty up there. Testing. Yeah, this will go. Captain's log 9th of May, Sunday. The time is 10:31:25. So far so good. I woke up early and the little tiny badger boy of a 1-year-old son woke me up early. We went up, lit the fireplace, turned on some music, had a dance off, ate some breakfast, just had a great time. After that, we took a walk in the stroller. He fell asleep. I made a phone call, had a good conversation, came home, and did something about this. I'm pointing at my face now for the people who listen. I started to look like a homeless guy. So, yeah, I had to do something about that. I had to, do my samurai grooming routine. So now I don't feel like a homeless guy. At least that's probably the most important part. Yeah, anyway, for today's episode, I was thinking about doing something a bit different. Instead of me just sitting ranting about random topics, I'm gonna talk a bit about a book. I'm gonna read out loud a bit from this book. In the fantasy stories where some, adventurer finds some old wizard book or something, some magic book that changes the life of the person who finds it and the people around him or her. This is one of those books. I was far up in the mountains in the north on an adventure. I was about to slay a dragon, and I slayed the dragon. It was in a cave, and in this cave, behind the dragon, there was a chest. I opened up the chest, and I found this book in it. That's what happened. That's how I found this book. Yeah. The book is called Discipline Equals Freedom. Field Manual. This is a field manual for the battlefield life. It's written by Jocko Willink. And for those of you who don't know who Jocko Willink is, I don't know how to, in a respectable way, introduce him. He's a retired Navy SEAL. He's a martial artist. He's just a really intelligent, well-spoken, smart, driven, ambitious, scary, badass of a man. He is... You take a poet's heart and a wizard's wisdom, and you put it into an Urukai orc. That's Jocko Willink. I don't know how better to describe him. That's how I view him, at least. He's written a couple of books. He's written books for kids, kid books. He's also written 2-3 books about leadership. and he has a podcast who is like really, 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 really good podcast. Yeah. Introduction done. Go check him out. Google his name. On the back of the book, the good thing with this guy is that he uses few words, but they're still like a hand grenade. So, for a curious person who finds this book in a cave behind a dragon and chest, they pick it up and they're like, okay, discipline equals freedom. What does that mean? Field manual. Okay, Jocko Willink, who's this guy? I need to read here on the backside to see what this book is about. And it says, there is no shortcut. There is no hack. There is only one way. So get after it. There is no shortcut. It's better if you do it fast. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, baby. Coffee. What does he mean there is no shortcut? What does he mean there is no hack? There's only one way? What way is that? Get after it? Get after what? This goes, if you open up a lifestyle magazine nowadays, the things you read is like, become happy in 2 steps, or 5 maybe. Get abs in 2 weeks. Get rich in 1 month, whatever. These are the hacks, these are the shortcuts. We're constantly fed with these news articles and these lies, because that's what they are. If you ask a successful person, it doesn't matter within the field they are, if it's an athlete or a whatever person who's good at something, and you ask them like, can you give me all the shortcuts and all the hacks so I can become as good as you in like half the time? Maybe if they have enough experience, they can like shorten that process in becoming great at something, because they have learned from mistakes, and maybe if they coach you properly, you don't need to do the same mistakes or whatever. But most people, the answer they're gonna give you is like, no, they're like, you just need to do the thing you want to become good at, and you need to repeat that and do it all day, every day. That sucks. You want to get abs? Okay, I'm gonna need to put you on a strict diet and an exercising schedule. But for how long? I don't know, depends on how much fat you have on your body. I'm quite fat. Okay, that means probably at least 12 weeks. If you want to, work out as Rocky Balboa and starve yourself for 12 weeks, we can do that. Do you want to do that? No. Okay. Then I can't help you. That's what, yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm thinking out loud. We like the idea of life having some kind of cheat code to it. Of course we do. We people are lazy animals. We don't like to sweat and bleed and, do things we don't want to do. We want to just get what we want to have fast. And we want to use hacks and cheat codes. Yeah. So, I picked out a couple of pages in this book that I want to read from. And after reading the page, you and me are gonna reflect a bit about the content that I just read. We're gonna let it sink in, think about it, reflect, and try to figure out what he means. So, weakness. Do I have weakness? I am nothing but weakness. I am not naturally strong or fast or flexible. I am certainly not the smartest person in the world. I get emotional over stupid things. I eat the wrong foods. I don't sleep enough. I procrastinate and I waste time. I care too much about meaningless things and not enough about important things. My ego is too big. My mind is too small, often trapped inside itself. Now, all that being said, I have a saying. A person's strength is often their biggest weakness. But their weakness can become strength. Me, I am weak. In all those ways, I am weak. But I don't accept that. I don't accept that I am what I am and that is what I'm doomed to be. No, I do not accept that. I'm fighting. I'm always fighting. I'm struggling and I'm scraping and kicking and clawing at those weaknesses to change them, to stop them. Some days I win, but some days I don't. But each and every day I get back up and I move forward with my fist clenched towards the bell, towards the struggle, and I fight with everything I've got to overcome those weaknesses and those shortfalls and those flaws as I strive to be just a little bit better than I was yesterday. I'm not the best reader, so sorry for that, but this is Jocko Willink, an Uruk-hai orc with a poet's heart and a wizard's intelligence, saying, I am nothing but weakness. Just spontaneously reading that, I remember the first time I read it. I got a small syntax error in my brain, I have to be honest. I was like, what? He's not these things. He's not weak. He's like the strongest, toughest person walking this earth, working on this planet right now. Walking. One of them at least. But then I was like, okay, yeah, of course, he's a human. All his weaknesses, they're built into him. Like in his operating system called Windows, the human brain, all these things exist. It does in every single person on this planet. So of course he has all these weaknesses, of course he struggles. I understand that. Of course. But the difference between him and 99% of the population, at least in the Western world, he sees them, he acknowledges them, and he fights. He fights against his weaknesses. He objectifies them and he makes them, his targets. He aims at them and he shoots. Every day. Until the weaknesses become weaker and his strength becomes stronger. Yeah, it's hard for me to sound intelligent in my second language and express myself fully, but I get this. Let's say that I work out every day for 2 weeks. and I tell that to a person who doesn't work out, they might think and believe that, oh, it must be so easy for you to do this, because you probably doesn't, have to fight resistance. You probably just think working out is super fun, exciting, like playing a video game, and that makes it easy for you. Because I've thought like this about other people doing things. I have felt and thought these thoughts. It must be so easy for them. Is it? No. They're just good at fighting their weaknesses. They're good at, it's discipline. That's what it is. When I raise my ass up from the sofa and is about to do the 8th workout in a row, in my head, the same thoughts pop up in my head that pops up in your head, and a person that never works out's head, and those thoughts are, no, I don't want to do this. Maybe I can do it tomorrow instead. No, I'm a bit stiff. I worked out yesterday, so that's good enough. I don't need to do it tomorrow or today. Maybe I can do it tomorrow instead. Oh, the sofa is so nice. I'm a bit tired. No, I'm not a person who works out every day, so you don't need to do it. Just give up. Give up on yourself. What does it matter anyway? These workouts. You're still gonna die someday, so what does anything matter? You're a monkey, Tommy, on a floating rock in space, in a universe that is expanding all the time, and you don't know shit about the purpose of this life or what happens to you when you die. You don't know if there's a God or not. Everyone you know is gonna die. So why work out? Does that sound depressing? Well, there's different, the voice in your head is smart, so it has plan A, B, C, D, E. Like, so if plan A doesn't work on you, if you confront yourself, plan A, you hear one voice, the devil on your left side, saying, no, the sofa is nice. And you have this is the badass Tommy over here saying hey, fuck the sofa, we need to work out. This guy is gonna oh, okay, that didn't work. Well, you're stiff. I don't care. I like to be stiff. It's it feels good. It feels like I've done something. It's a reminder that I'm doing something good for myself. I like this feeling. Oh shit. Can he just shut the fuck up? Plan C. You're gonna die. You had to mention that, right? Come on, bro. Yeah, I know I'm gonna die. But if I do this, I might live 10 years longer, and I might, be able to be more active those 10 more years, and, it's gonna increase my life quality and help and make me a better dad and hopefully a better granddad someday. Oh, fuck. The devil again. You know that you live on a floating rock in space. You know that after you die, it might be just nothingness. You might just be dead. There's not going to be a statue of you when you die. No one's going to care about you. A couple of 100 years, you're not going to exist. All the traces of you are going to be gone. What What does anything matter? Come on, you goddamn weird hippie devil evil bastard. I like working out. I feel good when I do it. Shut the fuck up. Let's go work out now. Boom. that might have been a weird little rant there, but self-talk, the voices in our heads. The previous podcast I talked about this in Swedish. I talked about, that you have two people inside you. You have the strong version of you, and you have the weak version of you. And I talked about the concept of like manifesting them, the strength and the weakness, the good and the bad, the light and the darkness, into you visualize it as a person or a creature or something. And I told you that my creature, the good one that tells me gives me instructions that are good for me, that's the old strong grandpa dude with a mustache that wants the best for me, and the evil little thing that want to destroy my life, that's some kind of golem creature. That's how that looks. So every time you have a fight against these two sides in you think like, okay, I need to go get grandpa now. He's strict and firm, and he wants the best for me. He loves me, but sometimes he yells at me, and he needs to fight this little golem creature that becomes stronger every time I do what he or it tells me to do. Every time I not take my ass out of the sofa, the golem creature becomes stronger. So weakness is very interesting, I think. Like, we all have it. We all have it. The only thing that differs between us is like how good are we at fighting it. Like, do we surrender? Do we give up to it, or do we like take up a fight against it? And fighting weakness, that's from my own experience, it's not like, okay, I'm going to fight weakness for 2 weeks and then it's going to disappear. No, fighting weakness is a lifelong project that, every day for the rest of your life, when you wake up in the morning, you're going to need to fight weakness. But what happens is that what you're fighting is different kind of weakness. Like things you couldn't resist now, in a year, if you start kicking ass in life and taking charge and moving forward, you're not going to need to struggle against the same kind of problems. The problems will still be there, but they will be bigger. Like let's give an example. You think it's stressful, difficult to talk in front of 5 people, like a group. Let's say you do that, you start doing that, and half a year in, you feel like, okay, it doesn't even make me flinch anymore. I'm not even like 5% nervous. Well, then we need to raise the bar. The group needs to be 10 people, blah, 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 blah. In a year, you might feel the same feelings you did with 5 people, but the group is now 50 people. You're still going to be scared and feel weak, but it's just a bigger dragon that you're slaying also. Yeah. I'm gonna read some more. First coffee and then a snus. Wait a sec. I'm gonna wait with this snus. Okay, this chapter is called Fear of Failure. Fear of failure. Fear of failure can keep you from taking the risk. It can leave you sitting there, paralyzed into not taking action. And that is obviously bad. But I don't want you to overcome fear of failure. I want you to be afraid of failure. Fear of failure is good. Fear of failure will keep you up at night, planning, rehearsing, going over contiguous Fear of failure will keep you training hard. Fear of failure will stop you from cutting corners. Fear of failure will keep you working, thinking, striving, and relentlessly trying to be more prepared for the battle. So I want you to be afraid of failing. I fear failure. But more important, I want you to be horrified, terrified of sitting on the sideline and doing nothing. That is what I want you to be afraid of. Waking up in 6 days, or 6 weeks, or 6 years, or 60 years, and being no closer to your goal. You have made no progress. That is the horror. That is the nightmare. That is what you really need to be afraid of. Being stagnant. So, get up and go. Take the risk, take the gamble, take the first step, take action, and don't let another day slip by. Fear of failure. I don't even know where to start with coffee. So, he wants me to be afraid of failure. He wants me to sharpen my senses, to prepare, to work, not to fail. That's how I interpret it. What he says is that it's a completely normal thing to be scared of failing. That's one of the rules of the game. If you do something scary, something challenging, something demanding, something you've never done before, you should be scared. If you're not scared, the thing you're doing, it's too easy. It's not a worthy challenge. Or you're a psychopath. What we should be afraid of in life is to not have the courage to take risks where we can fail, to play it safe, and to wake up later in life realizing I had all these things that I dreamt about doing, that I wanted to do, but I was too scared of failing, so I didn't dare to do them. I put myself in a prison cell and I swallowed the key. And that's most likely what I'm going to be sitting thinking when I realize this. I did this to myself. And let's say I wake up realizing this when I'm 70 years old. Instead of now, how much time do I have left to do the things that I wanted to do or want to do? And with time, many years? How many years would I live? And just with those years, how many of these years am I going to be healthy and strong and able to do the things that I want to do? 2 years? 3? 1? 10? I don't know. It also depends on what I talked about in the previous chapter. If I wake up 60 years old, fuck. I just followed the rat race. I did what I thought other people expected from me. I followed the template that other people built up. And I did all these things and I followed all the rules and I played the game as I thought it should be played. And you wake up and you're 60 years old and you just feel empty. And also, you never learned how to fight the weakness you have inside you. You never learned to not listen to that little devil on your left shoulder. The golem creature took over. Imagine waking up from that with a feeling that life up until now has been some strange experience that it feels like it's been on autopilot. I haven't actively been navigating this experience myself. I've just flown with it. I'm the result of external events. I didn't play the main character in this video game. I didn't play the main character in this movie that is my life. I just watched it happen. And this is the result. This is what life gave me. Imagine waking up like that. And realizing that there's not that much sand left in the, what's it called? Time glass. The thing that you put sand in and yeah. There's just some centimeters left there. It goes really fast. You can see it. Your life is ending 1 minute at a time. We don't want to do that, my friends. That's just thinking about that. It scares the living shit out of me. How can I know that I'm, following my own path, doing the things that I want to do? How can I know that for sure? How can I know that I'm not going to wake up being 65 years old and think like, oh fuck, I messed up. I was too scared. I didn't challenge myself enough. I didn't follow my dreams. I just followed the rat race on autopilot. I listened to other people's opinions. I let them decide over me. I let, bad people control my life. I let them use me like a fucking puppet. Now I'm sitting here like an empty shell, confused, distorted. That scares the living shit out of me. That might be the biggest fear in my life. Waking up. Yeah. So how does one not, live your life so you wake up like that in 10, 20, 30, 40 years? Like, what the fuck did I do to my life? Sit down and think. How happy are you? Are you like, ask yourself some simple questions like, how satisfied are you with your life? What kind of friends do you have? Do you like them or not? Do they stimulate you? Do they challenge you? Do they make you a better person? Or do they enable you? Or make you worse? The job you have. A good thing to, just see how much you like your job. And I'm not saying everyone needs to love their job, because you need to work, Having the dream job, blah, 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 it's quite rare, but we should strive for that, or come as close as possible. I think that's your responsibility towards yourself. Like, if someone stopped paying you a salary for your job, but still, listen to me now, or your bills were paid, someone was buying you food, so you got your shit covered. You don't need to think about money, but you don't get paid to do what you do. That's just a gig. Would you do that? Would you step up in the morning and go to your job if you didn't need to? Because all your salaries were paid by some magic dragon. Would you do that? If the answer or the spontaneous thought in your head is fuck no, I would run away from that place and never go back. Maybe you're not you're not where you should be. On the other hand, if the thought is like, yeah, maybe I would go there, like it feels meaningful, I would probably keep doing it as a hobby or whatever. Then you're doing what you like. When I worked with unemployed kids, I usually ask them, so what's your dream job? What kind of job would you do if you do it for free? If the salary was zero or super crap, like something you just think is super fun. Usually the answer is like, I would go, save turtles or work with homeless kids. I don't know if homeless kids or whatever. Like, usually the answer you get from people is something that is super fun or something that is super meaningful. So if your job is to, sit in some IT system and push numbers all day long and it's soul killing, you wouldn't do that. So you're trapped in this, exchange of money. So you give them your time and soul and they give you cash, and you have, you tricked yourself into believing that this is how it needs to be because I need to have a car and I need to have that and that and that and that and that. So I need to do this. It's just a trap. Maybe you don't need to have all these things. Maybe you need to have a job that, is meaningful, that makes you happy. Yeah. So friends, work, how's your health? Like, how do you feel when you wake up in the morning? How do you feel when you go to bed? Like, it doesn't matter how everyone wants to look like a fucking, bodybuilder nowadays. Or nowadays, everyone has probably always wanted that. And you want to look like some fitness model or whatever. That's not health, Who gives a fuck? If you're happy with how you feel inside, like, it doesn't matter. Like, working out or taking care of yourself shouldn't be connected to visuals. It's like, how do you feel deep inside you? If you feel good, you're probably going to be a good person. And that's what the world needs. The world doesn't need more shallow fitness models. I'm going to say it again. The world doesn't need more shallow fitness models. The world needs happy people who feel good about themselves, who have a functioning body that can handle the daily stress that you expose it to. And the mental health part, like, the goal there, you shouldn't feel like shit every day. Like, but it's the same thing there when you start, your mental health journey. Okay, my goal is to feel better as a person. The end goal with that journey is not like you're never gonna find some permanent state where you just feel happy all the time or don't feel negative emotions. The thing that happens when you start, truly taking care of yourself like someone you love and someone you fucking deserve to treat good, is that you feel like shit less often. Instead of feeling like shit every day, you might feel like shit once or twice a week for a short burst of time. And that's not bad. The darkness won't disappear, it will just not visit you as often. And when it does, you're gonna visualize a small golem sitting on your shoulder like, come on, you little freak, I'm gonna murder you now. I'm gonna run up a hill, or I'm gonna listen to some whale song music, or just take a bath, or just breathe, or whatever, so you will disappear. And objectively, talk to the little thing like, I see you. I've slept bad, and I've eaten bad, and I've been stressing at work. Now it bounced back to me. Now I'm gonna feel bad for some hours. Okay, that's okay. Who cares? We shouldn't be scared of our emotions, but we are. So we escape them. You sit and you feel bad, and you eat, you play video games, you watch movies, you buy shit on the internet, you take drugs, you drink booze, you smoke, all these things you do to, escape these negative emotions. But stop there for a while and just sit and okay, negative emotions. Come get some. I'm waiting for you. I'm not scared. They're not gonna kill you. They're not dangerous. They can be really dangerous if you act upon them, but if you just observe them, feel them, and sit there, it's just feelings. It's hormones in your brain. It's a cocktail of hormones that produces a feeling. That's what happens. It's the same when you're happy. It's a cocktail of hormones. You're built up with chemicals. So remind yourself of that next time you feel bad. Oh, I feel depressed right now. Yeah. You have a cocktail of hormones in your head that's not balanced right now. Usually the best thing to do is you need to start troubleshooting. Like, why? Well, eat, sleep, move your ass, socialize with people, do something that feels meaningful. These things affect the hormones in our brain. Discipline Equals Freedom by Jocko Willink. I've read this book probably a couple of hundred times now. It's really easy to read. Sometimes you just need to sit and remind yourself of these things. So, Discipline Equals Freedom, a field manual by Jocko Willink. I don't know how to... Yeah, I recommend this book. It's one of the best books I've read in my entire life, and it's very easy to digest. It's short, it's powerful, and if you follow some of the tips and tricks in this field manual, read, let it sink in, reflect on the content, and you do these things, your life is going to change to the better. That's that. Rant out. Have a great Sunday, my friends, and kick ass.